we'll just give it a moment to see who's going to join. It's been a beautifully sunny day, so I was like, oh, will anyone actually join this evening? And realize it's actually dark now. So summer vibes today, but still not summer yet. Oh, I can hear myself in my computer. How weird is that? But hi. So this is Moon and Tarot. We are here for the new moon in Pisces, which peaks this evening, but the middle of the night UK time at 1:23 in the morning. So we are very much in the vibe, very much in the feels already. And we do have Puppy behind me, so we're just going to hope that he stays quiet for the stream this evening. He's got a very noisy toy, so we may have to get him to depart the room. But if you're here, say hello in the chat. And we'll give it like not much longer and we'll get started because it's weird talking to yourself on a screen. I hope you are all well. No sleep night, yay. The night before? Or are you expecting no sleep tonight? Hi Anna, I'm glad you made it because it was highly likely I'd have probably forgotten to do the reading that you asked for. But yeah, lack of sleep, hey, is definitely a thing, but also like the fatigue energy coming in, or at least it is for me, and I don't know if that's because I have high water placements, but like there's this like liminal space of just tiredness that hit like a couple of hours ago, and I was like, oh god, I've got to go live. So yeah, I bet you're all feeling that. But new moon in Pisces, it's a big one still. So we're not in eclipse season anymore, which is lovely. This is our first one that is not, but it's still like got like such a high energy. Hang on, let's just thank you. Apologies for the dog. Yeah, it's got such a high energy still because it is the last lunation before we go into the spring equinox, which is also the astrological new year. So it is literally the ending of this last year. So we are going into new, and it is a new moon, but there's a big like closure energy around this new moon. So yes, it is that like seeds of intention and what it is that you want moving forwards, but it's coming with like a big ending, and it's really asking us to like close the chapter, and not just close the chapter, it's closing the book so that we can like start afresh, start anew, and really get in with that like spring vibes, or at least spring here in the UK. So this is like a big reset moment, asking you to really lean into that shedding part so that you can move forwards with something new, however it's affecting you in your chart specifically. So with those strong feelings of release, whatever has been like rising up for you, and this will be a theme for like the last year or so, that's the type of thing and the energy coming in that's really asking you to now put it to bed so you can like start a new script with self. And this is like a big one as well, because we've got the new moon in Pisces, and Mercury is currently still retrograde in Pisces, but it's going to go forwards at this like a couple of hours after the spring equinox in the Aries moment, and it goes forward on the north node. So that is very like future focused thinking, and that means that that mental fog, all of that like not understanding, not knowing, like high strong dreamscape coming in for the last however long it's been retrograde, is actually going to start to clear just after we have that forward momentum of the spring equinox and the Aries new year. So it is like all systems go, and this new moon is a part of it with that intention setting. But it's also like really asking you with this new moon to like sit in the dreamscape. That's the best way I can describe it. Sit in that liminal space, even if it's uncomfortable, and like really be in it, be that inward turn, like to self, to higher self, like lean into that intuition to see what's really coming forwards with you. Because it's really asking this like big drop down into your heart space. Like, what do you really truly want? So that when you move forwards, when you're planting these seeds, it's like it's coming from your like soul's truth, your authentic truth. like that deep, deep, deep within you part, so that you can really build the life that you want moving forwards, and like shed all those old ways of being. um let me just have a look. Running a bath, I wish I could have a bath. Such release vibes for ages. Yeah, so you especially, being a Virgo, are one of the highly impacted with this moon. So it hits more people, like some of the chart more than others, and you are one. So yeah, consider this like a spiritual closing ceremony as such. And especially like after that eclipse season, which was like with the nodal aspects, like Pisces was obviously, is the North Node still. So those themes and elements are still coming forwards and coming into this and playing a part. But it is this like fresh landscape, but sit in that liminal space, sit in the dreamscape initially. And then like what I would say is like new moons, new intentions. Yes, great, like definitely do that, but just kind of like sit with it and be with it for a moment. I wouldn't go into any like proper intention setting this evening, or like I don't imagine anybody would be up at 1:30 in the morning anyway. And like leave that till the spring equinox Aries season starts on Friday, which actually kicks in at 2:45 in the afternoon on Friday. So like leave it till then, and then like set that stuff then instead of now. Really just be in the liminal at this moment in time, like get those last juicy messages that really want to land for you, so that as you like push forwards, you've really sat in that observation, integrated the lessons, the closure, the healing, whatever it is, because it's water. Remember, Pisces is water. There's so much healing there. So that when Aries season comes in with that cardinal fire, we really can like push forwards and go. We're really being invited to let go of those like old patterns, that old story, clear whatever is draining you, has been draining you, is not serving you. So yeah, it is a new moon, but it has that closure vibes to it very, very, very strongly. So like it's both of these, and that closure is so that it can create all that space for expanse in your life, in your reality, into the way that you want to go, into the way that you want to be. um let's have a look. Going through my notes, because like I said, fatigue, brain not really working, still in the retrograde, like that brain fog is very, very real. Let's have a look. We are also sextile to Uranus at the moment. So with that, that is definitely, Uranus is like that radical change, radical thinking. So that part of like breaking patterns, breaking free in unconventional ways, that like stripping away. And we have a Venus square Jupiter at the moment as well for this lunation. So that means that there is a proper check in alignment with your relationships, which makes a lot of sense with the Pisces new moon aspect. Pisces is water, and that links then to that emotional relationship realm for us. So like, what do you want in the relationships that you have in your reality, like, and so you can move forwards with ones that really like actually expand you, so that you can just continue to grow as like as you should be in the world. So yeah, this is definitely a time for reflection, as we like go into this transition, into this birthing. And I saw another astrologer, and I forget who now, otherwise I would name them, like this is like the birthing canal. And I love like that analogy of this. It's like, because we're leaving Pisces season into Aries, that end point, and Pisces really is the sign, although Scorpio is like death and rebirth and has all those vibes, Pisces really is the sign of death, because it's the last in the zodiac, and it is that transcendence. And that's why it's got such a high like divine consciousness, spiritual connection. So we're in the birthing canal right now, which is like that really like uncomfortable, like painful, what's happening, like I was comfy in there in the water, what the hell is going on. And we haven't reached the we haven't come out yet. We're like, that's like the Aries season, spring equinox. So like we're in this really uncomfortable like tension point, and it's like really asking you to just relax into it, see what's there, be with it. And like, so that when you come out the other side, you can like gain your footing a lot quicker, because you'll be much more aligned. And it's that alignment with your heart, with yourself. um, that Aries energy, bringing in that like that fire. So that momentum will really start going. And we've had big things change into Aries. So there is like that is like that big theme of this shift of old ways of being, like internally for us personally, but also collectively on the like on the main stage as such. So close this chapter properly, close this book, like be done with it and be sure that you are done with it, leaving that stuff behind. So I'd really like invite you to look at where it is affecting you in your chart. And when we get to the like personal card readings, like if you give me your rising, we can do that. But yeah, release what's done, trust all that you've learned, trust in your intuition. Like your intuition is your greatest guide. It's greater than anything else. If you can lean into that space, that is always going to be the best guide. And as my friend says, who is in the chat, it's like that compass. Your inner compass is always going to be better than anything anyone else can say. So really trusting in that and knowing that that's your guidance, like that's your true north. And move forward with that then clarity and like that heart ledness instead of leading forward with force. And that will really help your momentum when we get into that fire, because the fire helps us with that like action, drive, force anyway, but we don't need to be like against it. We just want to be in flow so that we can really like guide it forwards and just make the most of this so that going forwards it just serves us all the better. So the connecting card to this donation is the 10 of Cups. And I'm smiling because I fucking love this card. Like it is my favorite card. Rainbow of Cups, happiness, clear sky, happy little families, house in the distance. Please remember, this is Rider-Waite. This is old depictions. So that is like a stereotypical what happily ever after can look like. Cups is water. It is the emotional landscape. It's obviously water. We're in Pisces. And so this is how you emote. It's your relationships. It's how you relate. Your intuition is here as well. So it's that thread line through to the divine consciousness. So all of those themes really coming in. And this card is all about happiness and alignment. It is a number 10. So 10s are all about ends of cycles and completion. That's what 10s are in tarot. So this is like, this is what it's saying. This is coming to that end of the book. It's coming to this. This is end of cycle. Like this karmic loop is done with now, needs to be done with now. So as we move forward, we're starting, like we go back to Ace because, you know, we're going to, it's always cycles. We're going to start again, but we've reached this end point. And with this, like we have this, it's not to say necessarily that you have gained this. If you have, wonderful. This is like inspiration as such of what it is that you want to attain. So what does this look like for you? So this little happy family rainbow may not be your idea of like happiness and emotional fulfillment and all of these things, that happily ever after. But what is that for you? And this is also part of sitting in that liminal space. So in that liminal space, find out what this is. So the best like way I can say it is like lean in right now to that liminal, into meditation, and like go and journey with it if that's something you're comfortable with, and like have a look around, as in like at least the way it's being shown to me is like you go into that space and then there's, pick up another card, there's just scenes, there's scenes of cards, and it's like you can wander around and look at all of them and be like, no, don't like the look of that one. Oh, that one's all right, but not really getting everything going. And then like it's finding this one. What is this to you? Because that's what you want to find in the dreamscape. So from that dreamscape, you can bring it down into reality. And part of this will also be, it's not just scenes of like what could be's. It might also be scenes from your past, like looking at things and going, I don't want that anymore. Or like, I want parts of that, but like that, no, I can't go back to that. Like it's really clearing the way, clearing that shit out that does not serve you. So you can have this. And that real dreamy aspect of Pisces is saying, this can be yours. Like this actually can be yours, whatever this is to you. Bringing it down and planting that seed of intention when we like go to the spring equinox and then into that Aries season, like plant it then, spring, plant your seeds so they can burst forward and grow. You can have this if you believe you can. But if you're looking at it going, I can never have that, then you won't attain it because it won't just land on your lap. there's a level of like bringing that dream into reality, like really planting it down, really believing you can have it, and then also taking actions towards getting it. Dreamscape now, plant that seed of intention, and within that Aries season, that drive, that action, that fire, that's when you can start putting the momentum in to actually like how do you get it? What can you do to actually move closer towards this? Like whatever this looks like to you in your reality. So it's that like leaning in to the dreamscape, but also like where are we done? Where have we reached the completion, this ending stage, the number 10? I'm sure I can take more actions, but we will see. I have to look at where it is in your chart in a second. But it's that part of like, so with these actions, you'll have more clarity once, like, so essentially Friday. So Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock-ish is when we go into the spring equinox. Is it the same as, or it's always going to be the same? Spring hits when we move from Pisces into Aries. And it's a couple of hours later that Pisces goes direct on the North Node, that like, you know, that North Star, that moving forwards part. So it's got like a strong forwards push momentum, and where that mental fog really clears for us. So you'll have greater clarity. So maybe like right now you're going, I can't take more action, but you may be able to after, because you'll have greater clarity. And so really sitting into that, like the dreamscape, your heart space now will just serve you with that when everything kind of clears up and lands, which is why I just feel like just don't set your intentions now. Bring them in and have an idea of what they may be, but really like concrete them, or like really put them in the soil on Friday. And I'd even say so with that, like a couple of hours later with the Mercury and the clarity and stuff, Friday evening. Just like leave it until then. We're still like in moon energy. So moon energy always lasts a certain amount of time. So you'll still be within that like remit. And it's always really good. So as we move from like, so it's the dark moon hits the new moon, and then obviously the moon starts growing. So, and with that, because it's growing, it's gaining momentum. So that's the point where we want to have that, like the dark moon's part is where we really need to sit and dream and be. So like leave it till then, and it will serve like you, it will serve us all better. But yeah, just trust this can be yours. Like it truly can. But I really, really recommend like just a proper check-in with self and with spirit to really find out what this is for you. It may shock some of you. It may not be what you thought it was going to be. And it may be, you may already be dead certain on exactly what it is for you. And that's wonderful. And then amazing, you've already got that behind you, and it will just reconfirm it for you. But yeah, the most beautiful card. Like, I love it. It's happiness and joy. And it is like that happily ever after of, like I said, our relationships, of our emotional landscape, of that remit, of that water. So like just trust that this abundance can be yours, because it truly can. And that's what we're going to plant and work towards. You can see puppy. Right, I think that's it for the moon and tarot in that regard of what's coming in. So let's pull some cards, because that's always the fun bit. So just because I know some of your risings, that's not the problem as such, but chuck them in the chat so I know which order to go in, and we'll just kind of see like, yeah, get guidance into what's going to help and come forwards. Yay for the fun bit. Exactly, it's way more fun. The cards are always the fun bit, as in pulling them. But yeah, we've got two different tarot decks here, kind of with different energies to see. Taurus rising. So Taurus rising, I've just covered the bit. It is in your 11th house. 11th house is networking and community. So with that, it's like really calling in collaborations as such, like new collaborations in whichever way that lands in your life. It may be that a shifting away from a friend group. It may just be like venturing into different networks and communities, because there may be something there that serves you, like an element of growth within your reality that is just pushing you to expand into a new way of being. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna like leave all your old friends behind or anything like that, or it may do, but something new within that like landscape for you. And it could even be like, say that it's not that your friend group is changing or your communities are changing, it's that you're entering into it in a new way of being. Like something has shifted within you, that you've changed in a way that you're entering that space differently. And because you're entering it differently, you will want to be received differently than you were before. We have the King of Cups. Ooh. Two of Swords in reverse, and Temperance. So King of Cups, cups again, that water element. And this is like he's sat on his throne in his power in the upright, which we love. That is emotionally secure, emotionally stable, compassionate, like really, really able to lead from the heart. And I'm being really drawn to the fact that this is actually like a dragon here. So the dragon, so North Node and South Node is sometimes depicted as a dragon, the North Node being the head and the South Node being the tail. And so with the fact that like we've got North Node currently in Pisces, that like guiding light forwards, it changes in July, but right now it is in Pisces. It really feels like as if this is really saying to you, like this is taking you into the direction that you need to be. And it's something that is landing with such like emotional stability and security. And then we have the Two of Swords in the reverse. So swords is the air element, it's the mind, it's the worries. And this is like that almost like cross conflict of like not knowing like what to think, which sword to draw and stuff like that, being a bit like whoo type of thing. And it's like, put that down, like don't worry about that, like get out of the mind and really really sit in the heart space. This will be your greatest guide. You don't need to actually make decisions as such right now, and you certainly don't need to worry about them. Like just put the swords down, put the mental anguish, that worry that's sat up here down. And then even here, like we've got this fire underneath. And with Aries coming in, it feels like there's this like massive purification coming in that regard, that transformation, that transmuting that fire does. So like just don't worry about it. That version of you, the one that would like worry that much, that anxiety like state, like it's going to be transmuted, it's dead, gone. Like we are this moving forwards. And I absolutely love that a dragon came to you last night. So like that's like beautiful and amazing. I don't actually know what dragons mean. I don't know. And if anyone does, chuck it in the chat, as in like spirit animal type of wise. But if you do, or if you may have looked up today, like there's always look into the symbolism and the meaning. There's always something there, or at least I find. And then you also had Temperance. Temperance is all about balance, and it is that like level of everything being in flow, in balance. It's Major Arcana, which I love. And then this card is, I'm going to say it wrong, and I should know better because I did live at a Buddhist place for like a year. Avalokiteshvara. I definitely said that wrong, but it's the Buddha of compassion. So it's that really sitting in the heart space, but in that like true heart led, like yeah, like deep compassion state, where you're just going to be moving forwards in a way where there's just like a calmness. And like because there's an alignment that lands with you, where you're just like those things that you were worried about, like they're just not going to phase you like they used to. And you're going to view things, people, relationships, especially because it's in this networking community, you're going to have such a deeper sense of compassion for others when they can't meet you where you need to be met. And it won't cause the same like pain as it did before. It will like you'll see in a different way. And that's not to say, by the way, that you are not compassionate already. It's just like a depth to it that will just, it will be a softer, like more, yeah, willing, able to just be at peace with things. So yeah, I hope that helped. There's too many, I keep trying to move the chat with a thing that's not moving it because too many tech bits going on here. Where are we? Capricorn rising. it will get clearer soon, I promise. And I don't know if I'm just promising it to you because like I want it to get clearer for myself too. So I'm living in hope it will get clearer, I promise. So Capricorn rising is in your third house. Your third house is your early learning. It's the house of communication. It's Mercury ruled. This is for you. It's going to be about a resting for your mind, so that you can actually gain more clarity. So the fact that you said, sorry, I'm looking around everywhere because there's got things everywhere, that you want to believe things get clearer soon. It really, really will, because part of this is that it's that resting your mind, resting that anxiety, resting that like, so that you can actually have that moving forwards. As it's the third house and it's linked to that early learning, that anxious state is likely to be connected to early learning, to like a way of being that you learnt when you were younger. Can we use a different deck for you because I'm pulling in more. This is it's a death. It's a tarot deck, but it's like a death deck, I think. But I want more of that like darker vibe in regards to the. Ooh, I've got a candle that I just plonked on. And then we get this one. I know you can barely see it, but can you see my flowers here that I bought myself? I could like barely get them in the screen, but I couldn't. I was like, yay, they're here. I don't think one flipped. Okay, so in more of the like shadow state as such, and we have the King of Wands, but we do have him in the upright. But the King of Wands is like he's an entrepreneur, he's a natural born leader. He is king of his castle, like ruling with that fire being that action, that drive, that pushing forwards. And he has like with the King and Queen of the Wands, they have that charisma and charm. But like I said, this is the shadow deck, so there's like a more tainted edge as such to it. So there's this figure here, and it almost feels like he's looming over because the card we had with it is sorry, there's reflections everywhere. The Fool in reverse. And so with the Fool in reverse, that is the start of a new cycle. It is card 0. It's that beginning, the Fool. He's trotting off on his adventure, but there's a block there when he's in the reverse. Like he's more fearful of starting that new path. Remember, the major arcana is the hero or the heroine's journey. It's those bigger life markers and things in our lives. So that the more impactful, like not just everyday stuff, it's that like why we're here, why we're moving forwards. And it feels like there's that looming of whatever this is like that is in your life, this like strong fiery energy. This could be an aspect of self, this could be a person, this could be multiple. Kings can tend to have a father figure element, or some in that regard of like someone older, more established. Could also be boss energy, but like I said, aspect of self. But it's this looming over that kind of wants to be done with. Like I said, I'm pulling these. This deck is more of that release, being done with this, because this is actually looming over you taking a new pathway forwards, one where you are free spirited and like curious to go on that adventure. This is fearful. You're like, oh no, there's a cliff over there, and I'll be fucked if I'm going near that. And we want you to be like just trotting off and skipping towards it, even though you're going to fall flat or like off of it. But it's that you have to go on that adventure to start that new journey, that new pathway. And when you do, when you have that like shift, release, and be done with it, like the card you had is the 7 of Cups. So cups being that water. And this is a card about options. It is a card about having these 7 of Cups, and then within this is like Aladdin in his cave. And so it's really bringing in an extra like magical element to you, saying that you're going to have these 7 cups, these 7 options. You will have things to choose from. So don't be fearful of the path ahead, because on that path there are so many options for emotional fulfillment, options for relationship, options to have a greater connection to spirit, greater connection to like the I don't know, I was going to do 2 different things then, to source. So there's going to be so many options there for you. and you'll be done with this like looming over heaviness. So it just feels like much more magical options there for you to choose from. So the more you can shift away and the clarity will come, then options will open and you can like move forward as the free spirited fool instead of one that is full of worry and woe and anxiety about that path ahead. It's understandable to be worried about the path ahead when we can't see it, but there's like you have to trustful into it, and really know that you're being guided in the right direction. That's part of sitting in that intuition and that liminal space, to know that you're guided right, because you're being guided by you. You're not being guided by anything that you're outsourcing. It's all internal, and then that connection to whatever you think that is up there. Yes, always hold a candle for each other in everything. Oh, I'm going up. Where are we next? Ah, Sag rising. So Kira, you is in your fourth house. Your fourth house is so your mother sits in fourth house. And for you with this lunation, it really is about releasing old pain from the past, so that you can move forwards in a way that truly nurtures you in the way that you need to be nurtured. House four is about, so it's the mother, it's home, it's roots, and so that like base and security in that way. But yeah, like releasing old pain so that you can like it can be left, it can be left behind. Let's get some cards. Apologies for all that noise. I don't know how loud it is on the mic, but it's not fun noises. Ooh. Okay. So the first card that came out for you, we've got the Seven of Cups again. So this is the card about like choices, and what is there and presented in front of you. So there are seven cups. There's seven choices to like be with, and it feels like that with that like emotional landscape aspect here, that it's that like just really having to sit within you to like to know which one you are guided towards. It's got like a different energy, always different energy for different people, but like that element of like, what is it that you want, which cup here, because with that fourth house and all that connection, and there's also because like your younger years are in the houses underneath, what is the cup you want, you at your heart, not cups that you think you should pick, cup that is like for you. So really tuning in to self, because it's because you had the high priestess as well following it in the reverse. So like with the high priestess in the reverse, it talks about a blocked intuition. It talks about that being like foggy and hazy and not really having like the clarity that you need to be able to like really tap in to that space. And so this is what it's asking you to like clear that fog, clear all illusions. So really tune into your heart to know which cup is for you. So like and it's shedding away, clearing other people's opinions, what conditioning is there, anything like that, because none of that actually matters. It's just what you want that actually matters, especially to you. But that will really help, like as in like clear that fog. It's not to say that you are like that this is like completely blocked intuition. The intuition is there. It's just saying it's like spending time in that to clear that haze, to guide you forwards. And interestingly, with the fact that it is the house of the mother, we have the emperor in the reverse, and the emperor is, so the emperor would be paired then with the empress being the divine mother. So then this comes in as that like father figure, but it's blocked, so it's in detriment. And so that element here of a blocked father figure, or a figure that is not like standing in their strength, as they should have been, as they should be, and so bringing in that theme there is like part of this weight, so it being like both aspects there. And then we have the Page of Wands, and that's in the reverse too. So pages are like aces, they're like a younger energy, so it's bringing back in, so where we have that like mother father energy coming into this, it's like drawing me more to that younger version. And this is very much, pages are like a more teenage version of self, teenage, early 20s, and one's being that like drive and stuff. So it's like asking you to like just take a moment to pause. There's like that, almost like that looking back aspect into different versions of you, to strip away what is not actually yours. And that's part of this like cup thing there. Strip the bits that aren't yours, so you know which cup that you're being guided to pick, because you're being guided to pick it, not because of external influence. And that would be shedding some of that like younger programming. And it's also just that like pause, because the page of wands in the upright is a like a more of a pushing forwards, and it's like optimism and that fire and that drive. And it's not saying that that's gone, especially like because we're in this little window. It's saying spend some time in that space to really get clear, so that with like the spring equinox, when we're planting, it's really based in our truth, so that we can push forwards. And then it's like that kind of coming up like gung-ho, happy, wanting to move forward. It's enthusiastic, it's explorative, it's like full of all that zest and to go. And the page is like gung-ho to get to like king and queen level. That's what they're moving towards in the sequence. They're pushing forwards to get on their throne in their power, so that they like full of all the confidence, all of the charm, leader energy, and also that fire part. And then obviously with the fact Sag rising, it's that fire element, which would be a natural state, a natural king or queen, or you know, both, the combined state for you to be in. So yeah, it's just really truly leaning into the energies of this moon, which obviously makes sense anyway because it's the energies of the moon, to just land in your truth, so that you can release all pain and leave it in the past. Leave that book, shut it. You're welcome. I think I'm reading in order. Virgo, it's Virgo next. Virgo, you are 7th house. This is your relationship house. So it's really asking you to shed illusions, and whatever may be there in regards to how you relate. So this is our committed partnerships. So that would be your husband, because that is a committed partnership, but that is also work commitments, anything that there is that strong, bigger connection with. So like, yeah, just bigger than mundane, like more committed, more impactful relationships, and asking you to just leave behind and shed any illusions that were there before, so that moving forwards, those partnerships are truly in alignment with self. Let's see what cards want to come through. I thought about having a CBD drink before this, and then I thought, oh, is that a good idea? Like, my mind felt foggy, and I was like, I just need to like get some clarity. We don't want those cards. And I was just like, probably won't help me. Telling me to leave the job yet again. I do tend to tell you that a lot, apparently, or I don't. The cards do. We have the Devil in reverse. That's the first card. So no cards are bad, remember, even if it's the devil. The devil in the reverse is like a more of a resistance to like a detachment from something. So the devil, it can talk about the either like shadow stuff or taboos, or just the darker side of things, or things we feel bound to. And remember that, like normally in tarot, I just turned it, it's those people with the chains around their neck, but they're not actually chained because they're big enough to just take off their head. So the things we keep ourselves tied to that are actually no good for us. The devil in reverse is like more of a like, yeah, a resistance to that. And so with this being that like element of illusions, there's like, it feels like there's a part of like an illusion you're keeping hold of. And I would imagine, I'll just put another card, I'll pull the darker ones. let's not guess, let's use a card. Neither of them landed upright. So this like this detachment aspect where, or the lack of wanting to detach, the card for clarification of it is, you can't really see these properly, it's the Four of Swords in the reverse. And the Four of Swords in the upright is a card about like rest and contemplation and meditation. And there in the reverse, it's really saying that like it's a card that talks about burnout. It's a card that talks about a restlessness about potentially like a lack of progress. Remember, this is the mental landscape as well. So it feels like more of like the detachment that is needed from the devil aspect is actually, let's put it that way so I'm reading it the right way, is this like detaching from that, like detaching from the mind that is like over exerting itself, because like it's almost like that part of like, because there's more chance of burnout there's more chance of that, like there's a restlessness within it that's that like pushing forwards, but there's almost like that there's the resistance to actually taking a moment to like to properly breathe. And so with that, and then even like you said earlier, I don't know how much more action I can take, that kind of like then sums that up perfectly, of spirit being like, yeah, that's the point, stop taking action for a moment and reset, take a moment, breathe. And I mean, like, even if it's literally just from now until Friday, like just take that moment to just let it land. This lunation as well, like I said, it's going to hit Virgo as one of the hardest, so you'll be feeling it a lot more. So just actually just allow that time just to be, and that's part of that shadow self here. And it'll be then how you push forwards, because it's your relationship house, in those committed partnerships. So and like I said, it could be any or all of them, and your committed partnerships can also then, like, yes, this can be people obviously, but it can also then be with things, what you're committed to. We have the Three of Wands in the reverse. It's the Three of Wands, just double checking. And this is a lack of planning and foresight, because in the upright, it's normally the one that like the ships are coming in and you are going to guide them to where you want them to be. Like they're coming in and you're like, woohoo, adventure, let's go, I know where I'm telling you to go. In the reverse, it's like they come in and you're like, all of a sudden these things land as such and you're like, oh fuck, actually I don't know where I'm telling you to go. And that's this moment of like reset. It's almost like that pushing, but almost like things can land, or things will land, those ships are going to come in, and what you'll realize is you've been so focused on the pushing that then the direction's kind of lost. So it's that realignment to self. And then we have here, which is beautiful at the end, I don't know which way we're going over here now, the Knight of Swords. So knights are pushing forwards, it's in the upright, so that is that pushing forwards, and swords are the mental landscape, and it's that clarity. So you'll be pushing forwards like with greater clarity, because you've taken like that moment to like, you'll actually be able to guide and steer. And even that, like, it's almost a level of like where this like illusionary part is coming in, it's like that reassessment, so that like, because in like if you view that card as the upright and this person's coming up, but it's like things getting all like topsy-turvy, like going down and doesn't want to, and what we're needing to give you is the clarity, because actually you're trying to like climb, like almost like climb up a ladder that's taking you topsy-turvy and upside down, and really you're supposed to be on a horse, like, if that makes sense of what I'm saying. So like that horse will be that guiding point forwards, so that you can just actually then jump on and be like, yeah, we're fucking going this way. Because there's going to be such clarity. Knight of Swords is such clarity, that clear mind, that thinking, and like purely, and like being able to like really express it as well, and go towards what it is that you want. Let's just get one more in regards to, whoop. Yeah, so what came out is the Knight of Wands in the reverse. It's just like asking like kind of what this like that relationship commitment part was. And like the Knight of Swords is in the reverse. So with that element of like, that's they're not running forward on their horse because they're upside down. They can't run upside down. In fact, they're not even on a horse. They're on a ram. I think that looks like a ram. And so with that, that's like that's going into that haste again, that like rushing forwards, and then like it just feels like you hit that bit of like, this bit, the Three of Wands in reverse, because this is Wands again. That Wands part of like pushing forwards and then not like having the clarity to actually like the actual knowing is that to know where it's guiding. So like just take that moment to reset, breathe, so you can really like to formulate that path, especially the Virgo that likes, you know, that likes the plan. And there's nothing wrong with the plan, but there's like really needing to actually, I hate that I'm telling you to formulate a plan, but like take a moment to really reset so you can formulate an actual like a proper like guidance and plan for yourself that will come through with the clarity, so that you can then actually go on that path. Because otherwise, like if you just keep going with pure fire, and fire is passion, remember, it's creativity, and that's amazing. We want passion, we want creativity, especially within that creative, you know, business owner realm. Like obviously that's the driving part there to actually do, but burnout part is one of it, but also that there actually needs a bit more like asking you to have, in a sense, like it's like formulating your Virgo like so like in almost like a different way, in a way that's more structured, or structured in a different way, because I know you're structured. But yeah, formulate a plan, make some spreadsheets, but it's like it just feels like you'll hit a wall if you keep just pushing. And it's where that like devil is almost like that, even that. So all this fire stuff where the blocks seem to be more coming in these cards, then that devil here with the snake, he's a fiery snake. So it's almost like that part of that passion and drive of fire is almost that like devil element here, that is actually like it's fueling you in a way that is not serving you. And we need to harness him better instead of the devil harnessing us. We need to harness it, because the fire is important. Obviously, it's not telling you to get rid of your fire or saying that any of that passion is wrong. It's just saying that it's like currently right now, like not going to like get you exactly where you want to go. You need that greater clarity, and then yeah, you will be on said horse going forwards. Definitely reverse was in our last reading, was it? Oh god, see, too many things, I wouldn't be able to remember that. But there's always a possibility if it was in that reading, whatever it was in relation to, like if you have the notes or can remember, it could potentially link in, especially if it was this devil as well. If I was using this deck, which was probably unlikely, I probably wouldn't have had that one in my shed. But yeah, there's just like this, you can see there, see like it's, I don't know what it's in, but it's almost like a cage that it's in. So that's what I mean. There's something about the structure that's there already that needs to shift and change. So yeah, there will still be structure, there's still going to be organization, there's still going to be all of those things. It just needs to be in a slightly different way to get you to where you want to go. But yeah, for everyone, remember that greater clarity will come later in the week, and like only a couple of days, like it will land. And remember, when Mercury does go direct, it's not like instant. We'll still be in post shadow, so there will be that like slow movement with it, but clarity, that fog will start to clear, like it really will. That haze can go away. It may not have any connection, but it may do. I think that's everybody. I think that I can see anybody anyway on my list. I'm losing the ability to talk already. But if there's anyone else in the chat that wants a reading, pop your name in quick. And if not, then we are done. We are done. But happy new moon in Pisces, and thank you for coming and being here this evening. Go be in that liminal space. go meditate, just go be with yourself, like be quiet and allow that true guidance to land and come in for you. Remember, it's that release element. So potentially even more of a release aspect today. If you're going to do any sort of ritual aspect, maybe burn some shit this evening, release off. And if you do burn as well, remember like using those ash to put into the soil to nurture it will be a really good idea. So you could burn all the stuff you want to let go of, burn that shit, collect the ash, and then I have a spring equinox renewal ritual that you can download on my website. And within that, part of that ritual is planting something into the sea. I was about to say, don't plant it in the sea; it's into the soil. And what you could do with whatever you burn this evening, collect that ash and put that onto the soil because it's nourishing, it nurtures it. And so what you want to do is like release, it transmutes. That ash is not giving the past then to the soil, it's transmuted, but you're nurturing it with what you've learned from that, what you've released, what you want to let go of, and put it into the soil. So yeah, it could be quite nice to do more of a release this evening, and then yeah, utilize that and add it into your intention setting on Friday, but just really come into that truth and alignment with self as part of that. But yeah, that would be beautiful. That's probably what I'm going to do. I've got some stuff. I'm doing it there because it's sat there. I've got some stuff that I want to burn. So yeah, I highly recommend. You can always message me or go onto my socials or my website. That's where the PDF link will be. The single other childhood wound or connection to surface this week. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think at this point much more would surface. I feel like everything's been building and rising already. So at least let's go fingers crossed. I'm done as well. I don't need more lessons to learn at this point in time. Like I'm done. Like the last year and a half has like fucking sucked. So can we be done now? Like done. New chapter, new book, brand new shiny book. I don't need more. I don't need more lessons in the next like day and a half too. Like no. I'm saying no. Absolutely not happening. The light seer deck, yeah. It is the light seer. The devil was sexy. He is sexy, sexy devil. Yes, he is. We like a sexy devil. That's the ones we want to dance with, even though we shouldn't. Your burnt shit, Kira. Yeah, do what I said if you still have it, and if you don't, it's not going to be the end of the world if you don't have it still. Yeah, new moon that has a full moon taste. Exactly, that release element is always like, it's like there's always going to have that element there with the Pisces new moon because it's so close to the end, and it's also like it's 28 degrees this new moon, and there's 30, so like it's really at the final like, degree endings as well. So like because it's so close to going into Aries season, it may have less of a full moon vibe if it had been earlier in the month type of thing, but it was not. So but it does still remember have that new moon vibes because of spring. So it is. It's like it is and it's not. It's just it's Pisces. It's all like surrender and flow and just come into the water and just trust and all this confusion element. Like it's that vibe. Fuckery. It's fuckery. I have no idea if I'm allowed to swear on YouTube. Hopefully I can. Yes. Say no more lessons. I will set that intention for us all. No more lessons to come this week, just shiny new. But really shiny new, like spring equinox, Aries season, like we really are entering like, not to be dramatic, but like a new era, like it really is big. So like just trust in that and trust in the fire that's going to come in, trust in the clarity that is going to come in for all of us. And the more we can truly like fuck that stuff off that we just don't want anymore, like leave it in that chapter. It's like if you've been walking the path and the people in here like you have, like there's stuff here that like you've been this none this stuff isn't new. It's all the stuff that has been part of this like year and a half. And so just trust in the lessons and trust in the work that you've been doing, and just it's just asking for you to like be done and dusted with it for good, so that we just don't take it forwards. Because it doesn't belong there. Doesn't belong there. But yeah, Spring Equinox ritual is on my website. I do recommend. Burn shit, use those ashes. And yeah, I'm wishing you the most beautiful new moon this evening. I hope that everybody manages to sleep. We've been here tonight, so you won't necessarily need it, but the tarot connection reel will go up tomorrow. There'll be a post about Aries season, and then I have something new that I'm launching at the weekend that'll be on my socials and stuff, so keep an eye out. Something new and exciting is coming, and I cannot wait to share it with all you local people. So yeah, anyway, I could just keep going and going and going. You all know that I can ramble, so I love you. Mwah. And I'll see you soon.